Are you looking for an athletic scholarship? You're in the right place. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, the longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. We're here to help your family navigate the recruiting road all the way to an athletic scholarship. He's a recruiting expert and a dad of 2 college athletes. He has a wealth of experience to share. Here's Recruit Me CEO, Brent Hanks.
Welcome to episode 471 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Before I get into today's episode about how a recruiting education presentation will help you, the student athlete, and you, the family of the student athlete, and yes, even the coaches of the student athlete, I'm going to give you an overview of Recruit Me and the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Again, my name is Brent Hanks, and I've been the host of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast since June 2020, and the owner of the Recruit Me LLC Athletic Recruiting Education Company. The Recruit Me company was started by John Fugler in 2002. John developed recruiting tools to help student athletes and their families navigate their recruiting journey. Recruit Me provided student athletes with free resources like the free Recruiting Power Pack and the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, along with the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System. The Recruit Me 3.0 system was updated in 2018 and continues to provide today's helpful tools for families. John developed his 7 steps to an athletic scholarship in the early 2000s, and those 7 steps have proven as effective and still relevant throughout all of the years up to today. The foundation of Recruit Me are these 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. The 7 steps are: Step 1, select the right schools to contact. Step 2, write a great introductory email. Step 3, create your one-page player profile. Step 4, build your recruiting questionnaire. Step 5, track your communications. Step 6, send one-page updates. And Step 7, make your school choice wisely. If you are new to Recruit Me and the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, I'm the dad of a 2018 high school graduate, and he is a 2022 college graduate and ex-college baseball player at Northwestern. Northwestern is a Division I and Big Ten program. I'm also the dad of a 2022 high school graduate and a current NAIA level outfielder for the Columbia College Cougars in Columbia, Missouri. Many past episodes cover both Parker and Sutton's recruiting journeys. Back in 2014, as Parker entered high school as a freshman, we had no discussion or thoughts of playing a sport in college. Maybe dreams, but not serious thoughts. The only college thought pertained to future education. Parker, a left-handed pitcher and outfielder, had a good JV season of high school baseball and a few varsity appearances too as a freshman. His and Sutton's high school are a large high school in southwest Missouri and plays all of its sports in a highly competitive conference and a highly competitive schedule overall. Ozark High School plays teams from all over Missouri, teams from northern Arkansas, and teams from the Tulsa, Oklahoma region regularly. In Parker's sophomore year of high school, he had a very good year in both basketball and baseball. He was the leading scorer on the JV basketball team and was a regular sub and occasional starter on the varsity squad. Then for baseball, he was a starting left fielder and a regular starter and ever so often a reliever on the mound. Summer club baseball was successful, and Parker and a teammate also participated in the Junior Sun Belt, which was a week-long tournament in McAlester, Oklahoma, for Team Missouri. I believe that is where Parker and his teammate, Forrest, realized they could probably pitch in college. Again, Parker ended up at Northwestern, and Forrest pitched 5 years for the Missouri State Bears. Parker's junior year brought many accolades and achievements. He was all-conference in both basketball and baseball, and was named the Conference Pitcher of the Year, and he was crushing it in the classroom. And he got a 33 on his ACT test, and was part of the school's International Baccalaureate program. His recruiting was ramping up, and he was contacting coaches and having conversations with many on his list. He had another great summer with his high school club, and again participated in the Junior Sun Belt, where him and Forrest helped to lead Team Missouri to the championship, and Parker won the Pitcher of the Week. Parker committed to Northwestern in August of 2017, right before his senior year of high school started. He continued to play at high levels in both basketball and baseball his senior year, prepping for his college career. I tell you all of this to paint a picture of our family's journey in recruitment without using a recruiting service, but by having a plan. We put together a plan before I knew about Recruit Me. Throughout Parker's journey, we had some very helpful recruiting education presentations that helped us build a foundation and motivate and moved us forward to his final destination for college baseball. The first presentation was a fundraising chili dinner and auction for the high school baseball team that featured short talks by 6 local college coaches. These 6 schools came from the NAIA level, the NCAA Division II level, and the NCAA Division I level. Parker was a freshman the year the high school baseball coaches did this fundraiser. I thought at the time that this was a great idea and was something that our high school coaches could have done at least every 2 years so that most every player and their family could hear from college coaches. Every coach at the presentation emphasized academics, even more than on-the-field skills. The fundraiser was back in 2016, and still today for most student athletes, the academic message is one that should be brought to the forefront early in a student athlete's high school career. At the time, as a parent of a freshman, I was glad that the high school brought these college coaches in to speak in front of the whole team and their parents. I was disappointed that nothing like that was ever organized again. I think another college coaches gathering in 2 years would have been very beneficial. After Parker's sophomore high school season and a good summer club season and a successful and informative junior Sunbelt week in the summer between his sophomore and junior year, Parker elected to go to a camp at Kansas University in Lawrence, Kansas. Kansas was on Parker's college school list and fit his parameters that he had listed on a possible school choice. The camp was late in July of 2016, and it helped that an old friend of mine lives in Lawrence and works as the head athletic academic advisor for KU. Plus, his son would also be at the camp. My friend, Glenn Quick, was a featured guest on episodes 237 and 238 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. Go back to recruit-me.com to listen to these past episodes and more. The camp was an overnight stay on campus for the players, and it was a 3-day camp. There were coaches helping at the KU camp from other colleges. Most of those coaches had a previous connection with the KU program. There were junior college coaches, NAIA, and NCAA Division II and Division I coaches there. The camp scheduled a recruiting talk in a campus lecture hall for all the campers and any parents that wanted to attend. It was very helpful to get to hear from a variety of levels of colleges. One of the coaches that spoke was from an NAIA college just outside of Lawrence, Kansas, at Baker University. I remember that coach pointed out that you, as a student athlete, may not be able to play for KU or some of the other big Division I schools, but you could possibly play at Baker and still get a big university experience by going to the KU campus just a few minutes from Baker. You would get to meet people, go to big KU football and basketball games, and hang out with KU students as if you were a Jayhawk. Parker got a similar pitch when he visited the NCAA Division II Lubbock Christian in Lubbock, Texas. Texas Tech University is in Lubbock, and he could also get a big campus experience. Both my niece and nephew played sports in Fulton, Missouri. Olivia played basketball for an NAIA level William Woods, and Easton played football for an NCAA Division III level Westminster. Their campuses were just 20 minutes from Columbia, Missouri, and the University of Missouri. They would go to Mizzou football games and take advantage of the Mizzou nightlife occasionally. And now Sutton, my youngest son, is now at the NAIA level Columbia College, which is in Columbia, Missouri, and just a few blocks from the Columbia downtown scene. And he goes to a few Tigers football games every year. The presentation gave other helpful recruiting info, but this take advantage of all levels of college play and take the opportunity to be around larger college scene seemed to stick out for me, and that may be some advice that'll work for you. Later in the summer of 2016, Parker also attended a camp at the University of Iowa. Both the KU and the Iowa camps gave Parker an opportunity to be on 2 big college campuses and see their sports facilities, their dorms, and class buildings. He got to see the surrounding town and neighborhoods too. He got to perform in front of many college coaches at KU, and the Iowa camp had only Iowa coaches. The Iowa camp also had set up a recruiting presentation by a guy that was promoting his recruiting education service, his books, and his process. The presentation was set up in a meeting room close to the hitting facility by the Iowa baseball stadium. The parents were invited to the presentation while the players were getting metrics recorded in the batting cage and in the bullpen sessions. I don't remember the presenter's name, and I have long stored his handout and info in a forgotten place in my house. I do remember him having 10 steps to his recruiting philosophy, and they pointed to many of the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship that I and Recruit Me preach. Steps that help you research colleges, educate yourself on the recruiting process and the rules, and eventually to make the right fit choice at the right time for you. These presentations, and then Parker's recruiting journey itself, prompted me to want to pass along our learned recruiting knowledge to other student athletes and families. We, our family, learned a lot as we ventured blindly into Parker's recruitment. But it took my sales and marketing background, along with a few recruiting websites and podcasts, and we blended them into Parker's laying out his parameters, making a college school list, doing research on those colleges, and then sending emails to coaches with an introductory email, videos, and follow-ups. We caught a break when Lubbock Christian, an NCAA Division II college, made Parker an offer right before he entered his junior year of high school. One of Parker's high school coaches played at Lubbock Christian, and his brother was the pitching coach there. This was our first experience with an official visit, and the offer showed Parker and I where he was at the time in his high school career and recruitment. On the 13-hour drive home, Parker and I realized that he could probably fit at almost any NCAA Division II or Division III or NAIA college, and that with a little more growth and development, he could consider many NCAA Division I teams. He developed his own parameters of finding a program that was within 5-hour drive of home, and a program where he could get innings his freshman year, and a program in a college that was an upper-level academic school. We followed Parker's parameters and college school list and contact plan, and that was all developed on the car ride home from that visit beginning his junior year of high school. And we continued it until he verbally committed to Northwestern as he entered his senior year of high school. The day he signed his NLI, National Letter of Intent, in November of his senior year of high school was the day I decided to help future student athletes and their families by doing presentations that would help them to answer the questions of how to start, when to start, and how to get recruited. Through starting to do research, I found John Fugler and Recruit Me and his The Athletic Scholarship podcast. I then developed a CARS 101 presentation. CARS stands for College Athletic Recruiting Seminar, and the 101 is like an entry-level college class. The CARS 101 was a 1-hour presentation that gave the basics of recruiting and covered what to do each year of high school, starting as a student athlete entered their freshman year. I have been able to present the free CARS 101 seminar locally to groups of 15 to 20 student athletes and families, also to club and high school teams and to high school coaches. I've been able to pare the presentation down to 15 or 30 minutes to help introduce the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. The Athletic Scholarship podcast has been the best way to present each of the 7 steps and to give information to many student athletes and their families. Last year, I was able to break down the 7 steps into Zoom presentations for a charter school program in Southern California, Elite Academic Academy. The Athletic Scholarship podcast is a great tool, but I still believe a face-to-face presentation is a stronger way to give and to receive Recruit Me's recruiting information. Locally, here in Southwest Missouri, I would love to present the CARS 101 seminar to your high school or athletic program or to your sports club team. Presenting to the incoming freshman class along with all the other classes early is an ideal scenario, and being able to do a presentation every 2 years would be good also. Club tryouts or the start of a season meeting would be ideal too. Also, if you put on tournaments or if you give lessons, I would be able to talk to some of your players or teams. One of the main goals of Recruit Me to help a club or high school is to help student athletes develop and research colleges so the student athlete can meet with the coach or coaches to review the list and develop a plan to find the right fit choice of a college and a program. Benefits for the club and the high school is to help the student athlete understand timelines and to not worry about exposure too early, thus taking some of the pressure off playing time as a freshman or a sophomore, especially in high school. I see many athletes and families stress about exposure as a freshman, and they will jump schools and club teams because they are too worried about early exposure. If you're close to Southwest Missouri, contact me at Brent, B-R-E-N-T, at recruit-me.com, and we can discuss a seminar. If you are outside the Southwest Missouri area, then I can develop a Zoom meeting for a group too. Again, contact me, Brent, at recruit-me.com, and also go to the recruit-me.com website to gather more information about Recruit Me. You will find all the Athletic Scholarship Podcast episodes there on the recruit-me.com website too. Thank you for listening to the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. And please share the Athletic Scholarship Podcast and the recruit-me.com website with other student athletes and families that you may know. Join me next Tuesday for another 15 minutes of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast that will change your athletic scholarship future.